sort of venturing into the world of me just exploring my sexuality. Now we cool, we want to link, like it was just one of those situations. God gives you a sign that you are not supposed to be with someone and you ignore those signs, you have no choice but to cut them off. I do not believe in continuously staying with someone if they consistently show you who they are. The woman that I have developed into over the past year is now very disgusted when someone from my past decides to try to reach out to me. I feel like if you love someone once, you'll never stop loving them. I literally was pulling up to houses, sneaking past concierge to get into apartment complexes. I was texting some of my friends from back home to try to get the number of the side. Consistency is everything to me. How to migrate onto the next platform, because nothing is guaranteed. Everything is not for the internet. And this is my life. So of course I'm going to make decisions for myself. And that's one thing about me. I don't mind trying different things. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I never want to lose sight of the things that I wanted to do in life before I had this platform. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, then you probably do not know, but I did a previous video which was considered the part 1 of my long-awaited life updates. And I feel like if you haven't watched that video, I highly would suggest you to go watch it before you watch this video so that you're really not lost, because it really has been a long time since we have really sat down and debunked everything that has been going on in my life with me going missing for such a long time. Make sure you guys are checking the links in the description bar down below, where you'll have the opportunity to follow me on all my social media platforms, so that when I'm not active over here, you can find me elsewhere. I really don't see the need to drag this intro out, so I feel like we should just go ahead and get started. Alright y'all, so in my previous video, I had briefly discussed that I started venturing into the world of me just exploring my sexuality, because as a lot of you guys know, I have dated women consistently for years. I had my first serious girlfriend my freshman year of high school, and from there it was just so consistent. It was strictly women for such a long period of time, and although I felt very strong within my sexuality, eventually once I was a sophomore in college, I came across a young man that I was actually friends with. It was just one of those things that kind of clicked naturally. I was very clear about my sexual preferences, and he was very aware of that and very understanding. And so with us being friends at this point in time, it's kind of just one of those things where one thing led to another, and next thing you know, we're dating. And with me going through that experience, I am actually really grateful. I know I've touched on quite a few things that happened in that relationship briefly on my channel if you've watched some of the vlogs, but overall, it was one of those experiences where we just weren't good for each other. There were certain aspects where I was not the most healthiest. There were certain aspects where he was not the most healthiest. Eventually, it just led to us being in a consistent cycle of us not talking to each other for a week, talking to each other, not talking for a few days. Now we cool, we want to link. Like, it was just one of those situations. And when God gives you a sign that you are not supposed to be with someone and you ignore those signs, he's going to eventually put you in a position to where you have no choice but to cut them off. And that's pretty much what happened. I want to thank my mom for this, by the way, but we're about to go off on a really slight tangent. But growing up, my mom has always been a independent Black woman. I've seen her have a partner or two, but she has always been very firm on her boundaries, her standards. In her words, she can do bad all by herself. And that is something that I have adapted as a young woman. I do not believe in continuously staying with someone if they consistently show you who they are as a person, no matter what the circumstances are. That is one of the biggest reasons why I am very big on being so independent. I get up every day, work my ass off, and do everything that I need to do for myself to be able to provide a better life for myself, for my dog, for my mom, for my dad. Like, I wake up and do these things so that I don't have to consistently stay with someone that is not doing right by me. So once I decided to leave that situation for good, of course, it was one of those things where I missed what we had, but I had to think about the bigger picture and think about all the nights that I stayed up crying, questioning my self-worth. I had to remember all of those triggering situations that I was put in. When I was younger, I used to be so flattered when my exes would contact me, tell me happy birthday, like just try to find a reason to get in contact with me. The woman that I have developed into over the past year is now very disgusted when someone from my past decides to try to reach out to me. Why do you feel like you still deserve me after the things you put me through? You have a lot of nerve. As a person, you have to know when to love someone from a distance, because I feel like if you love someone once, you'll never stop loving them. And if you do, your love was conditional. Any love that I give is always unconditional. So even if we are not together, friendship-wise, relationship-wise, I still can love you from a distance. Although that relationship was not the most healthiest for me, I don't really look at the negatives of it. I look at all the positives. And maybe someday I do plan on giving you guys a story time, because when I tell you I was put through the ringer, girl, and by put through the ringer, I mean, like, when I tell you the year of early 2024, late 2023, as a woman who was used to women, dating men was one of the worst experiences I have ever experienced in my life. I feel like I literally was pulling up to houses, sneaking past concierge to get into apartment complexes. I was texting some of my friends from back home to try to get the number of the side. Like, oh my God. I really was doing some outrageous. One day, it's a possibility I will give you guys a story time. I think it's still pretty fresh. And it really hasn't been like a full year. And because it involves a young woman from my hometown, I really don't want to throw anyone under the bus, because it's still pretty fresh. I feel like if you really use context clues, you'll be able to put two and two together. As of now, you guys are just going to have to take that and let that simmer. Moving on from the relationship aspect of things, I feel like I use that as full leverage to boss my life up. I really love when I get my heart broken, because it's like it flips a light switch in my head and it just makes me want to turn up. It makes me just want to go hard. By turn up, I don't mean go out to the club every weekend and kick it. No, by turn up, it means stack my pay, really lock in with myself and start grinding. And it's always been that way. I don't know what it was about this one specifically, but this one definitely flipped the automatic switch. If you guys are witnessing all of my social media platforms, like watching my Instagram, watching my Finsta, watching my TikTok, you notice that my TikTok, I do strictly wig promotions on TikTok. I'm very consistent over there with my wig content. You go to Instagram, I've been way more active than usual. A lot of you guys that have been here for a while, you guys know that my first heartbreak that I ever went through, it triggered something in me that wanted to not be perceived. Now, with me not wanting to be perceived, I deleted my Instagram probably like twice and restarted it. It's just, it was a consistent cycle. And so now looking at my platforms, you'll be able to tell that there's a grind, there's a hustle. I'm hungry for it, if not hungrier than when I first started. I'm currently in this mode where consistency is everything to me. To be able to show up for myself, to get up and do things even when you don't feel like doing it, it's like you taking your power back and you owning it. For me personally, I do not like to cross promote. So the content that you'll get on YouTube is different content than you'll probably get on TikTok or Instagram. So one thing that I have and always will stand by is keeping all of my content very different on each platform. Each platform that you see me on is something different. And so recently I've been doing a little bit of research on creating a public Snapchat account, because this year is the year like no other. I want to be consistent across every platform. So it's ultimately up to me to do the research to be able to migrate onto different platforms, because ultimately that is one thing that social media creators should always be worried about, is how to migrate onto the next platform, because nothing is guaranteed. By the time you guys see this video, I will definitely have a public Snapchat account, so make sure you guys are keeping up with me on there as well. As far as content goes on this platform specifically, so when I first started my YouTube channel, I feel like I was a popular loner around my hometown. A lot of people knew of me, but I really did not feel close with many people. I was very cautious, and I still am, and I'm very quiet with people. It's like I can say a whole lot without giving much information up. I really don't tell people I don't know serious information about me. I just really tell them nonsense. I just yap. And that's always how I've been. When you grow up in a small town, I feel like you can't really trust that many people. You have to be very cautious of the people that you are speaking with, because I feel like if you tell one person something, it could literally spread all around town. And that's how it goes when you live in a small town. With me not really feeling close to many people, I turned to YouTube because I felt like that was my community of people that I could just be open and vulnerable with, because I did not feel too comfortable with people around my hometown. Till I did finally find a group of people that I thoroughly enjoyed in high school. And shout out to all of my friends that I am still friends with now to this day. I love each and every one of you so much. So once I finally did get a group of people that I could really trust, it really got to a point where I feel like I didn't shut my YouTube community out, but I definitely was more so cautious of everything that I was telling my community, because eventually I learned that everything is not for the internet. And I think social media has become one of those platforms where people just really have no shame. And that's okay. I can't judge people for their actions. I can only speak for myself and judge myself. I love being vulnerable and being able to tell my story. And this is for me. I just want to say I'm speaking for myself, not for anyone else. But as far as for me, I cannot and I will not get on the internet and be as vulnerable as I used to be, as I am currently going through something. And I say that because when you are upset, when you are mad, when you are sad, when you're experiencing all of these emotions, sometimes you say things that you don't mean. And once you say it and put it out on the internet, it's a wrap. No matter how many videos you delete, no matter how many posts you delete, no matter how many tweets you delete, it's there. People have seen it, and you can't erase things from other people's minds. And so that is exactly why when I am going through something, I cannot and I will not get on the internet and just be vulnerable in that point in time. Of course, I can tell you bits and pieces, which is what I do now at this point, but I can't just get on the internet and tell any and everything, because at the end of the day, I'm experiencing these things with real life people, and I have to be willing to consider the other person's feelings as well. Because I could literally fall out with a friend today, come on the internet and tell you about the situation tomorrow, and then next week me and that friend cool. So then the whole internet is so confused, and they're mad at this friend because I done already came on the internet and told you guys the situation, but at the end of the day, you don't have a relationship with that person. I do, and this is my life, so of course I'm going to make decisions for myself. I understand that some people no longer feel close to me, and I do feel like that's okay, because there are plenty of content creators that I enjoy. We just are no longer on the same path. I feel like we no longer align, so I unfollow them. I think that's okay. I think people need to understand that you are not forced to be here. People grow apart. Sometimes you're only meant to experience people for a season opposed to forever, and that is completely okay. I'm not going to be mad at you, but I feel like that just leaves room for the people that are meant to see me to find me. But I think that it's okay for people to grow apart. If you feel like my content no longer aligns with who you are or what you're doing in life, do not feel obligated to stay here. You don't. I promise you don't. There's no love lost. I am so grateful for the times that we did share. I'm so grateful for the support that you did give me. With that being said, I do wish you the best along your journey. And maybe one day we have the opportunity to reconnect. Maybe. And if not, that's okay too. But just know I am forever grateful for the time that we did share together. What are my plans moving forward content-wise for 2025? My platform took off based upon long vlogs. That's pretty much what it was. Over time, I realized that that was not something that I enjoyed doing, although everyone else loved me producing that content. For a long time, I continuously gave, and I realized that although the money is great, it's not what I want to do, and it does not make me happy. And I've tried so many different things, like a podcast, silent form content, diary entries. I've tried so many different things. Now, that's one thing about me. I don't mind trying different things. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I'm gonna always get back up and try something new. That's definitely one of my favorite traits about myself. Eventually, I realized I just really hated long form content. I hated producing it, and I was no longer in the mood to do that. So I stopped doing that. I love vlogging my experiences, but just not really in long form content. I don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy the idea of me having to film literally everything in my life. Like, I want to be able to live in the moment instead of having to worry about, oh my God, I need to show the vlog. Girl, no. I want to continue on the pace of me doing vlogs, just not long form vlogs. I love shorter vlogs because I don't have to add filler content. A problem that I would consistently find in the longer vlogs was that I was consistently just adding stuff in there to make sure that it was hitting a certain number, like 30 minutes, 40 minutes. I don't want to just consistently leave a bunch of filler content in there, because I don't even watch filler content with the creators that I really like. I don't want to produce that. What I like about the shorter vlogs is that you're consistently seeing me doing something. You're consistently hearing me talk about something. It's almost as if it's kind of interactive, the full 20-minute duration of you watching the vlog. And so I definitely am going to be sticking with my short form vlogs moving forward into this year. But I also really want to get more involved with doing sit down content, not just sit down content as in life updates or get ready with me's. I really want to do sit down videos that are more so focused on my career, doing Q&As about how I got into the dental side of the medical field, how did I study to pass my dental assisting course, how to negotiate hourly rates when it comes to being a dental assistant. Because if some of you guys don't know, when it comes to you being a dental assistant, a lot of these offices will try to lowball you. Being a dental assistant is not a high paying career. I feel like being a dental assistant is definitely a stepping stone. It's a great way to get your foot into the door, to make connections with doctors. Almost any and every field in the medical field needs an assistant of some sort. I really want to do a bit more as in educational content as well, because filming me going out to the club, kicking it on the weekends, and you know, all that stuff is cute, it's fun, because although I feel like the typical vlogger lifestyle is almost the same, like the Target runs, going to coffee shops, traveling, maintenance day vlogs, all of these things are very common with the vlogging community, and there's nothing wrong with it because I produce it myself. But I never want to lose sight of the things that I wanted to do in life before I had this platform, and that is working in the medical field. I really want to diversify my content, and you have to realize that I'm in a position to where I am blessed to have this platform, but I am in school studying a very complex major. Some of the things that I used to enjoy, some of the things that I used to do when I was 16, 17, 18, I've simply grown out of that. With us being on the topic of school, let's talk about it. Everybody's always asking me, oh my gosh, are you still in school? What's the update with school? I am still in school. I started off at Texas Southern, ended up at K-State, and now I am studying at UMKC. With me transferring so much, it definitely has delayed the process, not significantly, of me being on time to graduate. I'm actually not upset about it at all because I feel like I've learned so much at each university that I have attended. And I'm not just talking about course-wise, I'm talking about the differences of experiences of me going to an HBCU and then me ending up at a PWI. But not only was I at a PWI, I was at a PWI in a very small town. I got two completely different experiences from both. I love them both for sure, but I've gotten to this point where I really just want my degree. Just give me my degree, please. Like, I don't really care where I'm at. Just give me my degree. I really do think for my senior year, I'm gonna stick it out an additional year here in Missouri. I don't know. Oh, and you know what? That's also another misconception. Everybody thinks that I'm from Kansas City, Missouri. I am not from Kansas City, Missouri, you guys. I am from Kansas, like deep Midwest Kansas, okay? You guys are always like, oh my God, you moved back home. No, I did not. I am not from here. And it's no shade to Missouri. I very much did grow up in Wichita, Kansas. I did not grow up on a farm. That's also another misconception for me. Everyone thinks because I did grow up in Kansas, I grew up on a farm. I did not. But I do have farmhand experience. I really want to stick it out and just go ahead and get my degree from this university and then move again. Because as a lot of you guys know, YouTubers move a lot. And I am one of them, okay? I feel like when you got it and you're young, don't let anyone hold you back. And so after I graduate, I'm not gonna lie, you guys, I've been considering moving back to Atlanta. I feel like I need a redo. I feel like now that I'm a little older and I've got my groove back, I found my sense of self, I feel like I'm ready to take on the heights of a big city again. Now, Kansas City is big, but I feel like only to a certain extent. I feel like out here, yeah, you have people getting to it, but not that many. As much as I am a small town girl, I love being surrounded by young Black people that are young and getting to it, making a way, hustlers, okay? Because I feel like here in Missouri, I've learned that there aren't really too many of us hustlers out this way. A lot of people that do live in the Midwest, they get very comfortable because I feel like you can only make so much. And then once you make so much, it's one of those things where you either get really comfortable with where you are in life to the point where you're like, okay, you know what? It's cool. Like, this life is cool. I don't mind living here for the rest of my life. Or you use this as a stepping stone to be like, you know what? I actually want so much more. I achieved all I can here. And now that I feel like I've gained everything that I needed from this city, I need to be in a city where there are many more people doing more than what I am doing. That's why I feel like I really want to run it back. I don't know just yet. I just know that once I graduate, I don't plan on staying here. Who knows? I don't know. I'm indecisive. I'd say keep that thought in the back of your head though, because I also really want to move back to Texas. However, I don't want to move back to Houston. I want to move to either San Antonio or either the Austin area. I'm not too sure just yet. Definitely figure it out in due time. As far as goals for 2025, I feel like this year my goals are big. I have to do a lot better when it comes to financial management, just because last year and the year prior, I was stuck in this mindset of, oh my gosh, like it's okay, just spend it, you'll get it back, which it always does come back, but it shouldn't be that way. The richest people are people that do not consistently spend their money on dumb. And I'm not saying I'm not going to treat myself, but what I am saying is that making financial decisions that actually make sense instead of just buying things off of impulse. I really want to be consistent within my faith. I am not someone that needs to get closer to God. I've never gotten to that point where I'm confused about my faith. I grew up in the church. I've never been the person to lose sight of my faith. So as far as me getting closer to God, I don't think that's the goal. The goal is for me to be consistent within my faith, for me to find a church home. This year, I also really want to get back into ceramics. That was something that I thoroughly enjoyed in high school. If you know, you know. I want to find a creative outlet outside of my house. I am so excited for this year. So glad that I have this community of people here to witness my life transition, as you guys have been doing for years. With that being said, XOXO, and I'll see all of you guys in my next video. Bye.